You know, I once dreamed that I could speak 20 languages. I wanted to become the Tower of Babel itself. I also wanted to be tall. Only one of those things came true. When I think about dreams, I think about folklore. And some of my favorite folklore is Brazilian folklore. You know, we have the traditional vampires, you know. We have one called Garupiru or Pico-Pau, something like that. It's a forest guardian, right? And it's got its feet on backwards, so if you find it in the forest, you try and follow it, you'll go the wrong way. But I always thought, most people know about this, so why you wouldn't just reverse it, and then you know where you're going. We have Bigfoot, but the Bigfoot's different. Ours has two mouths, one here and one here. I always thought it was a metaphor for too many mouths to feed. And then we also have werewolves, lobisomem. But ours transforms every week, no full moon required. Oh! I still can't tell the days in Portuguese. Like, I get it, philosophically. I mean, you're counting days. I asked my mom, Mãe, que dia é hoje? Sexta. Thursday? Friday, filho. Of course, I should know this. I mean, I've been speaking the language for 28 years. But again, it's always confused me. I don't know how you go from counting numbers to counting things. Okay, like I'm sure we all know. Okay, so we have segunda, terça, quarta, quinta, sexta, right? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Why we don't start at 1, I don't understand. And then you have sábado and domingo. Okay, first off, sábado what? What am I supposed to know about that everyone else does? And second, domingo sounds like to me it belongs to a man named Mingo. Domingo. And he must be either very rich or very powerful because he seems to own a day of the week. So it's sexta morning, and all I can say to my mom is, well, shit. Olha a boca. Watch your mouth. My mother is sitting there. She's having her usual café com leite with a little toast and butter. She's had the same breakfast since I started forming memories. And the only difference between then and now is that instead of a newspaper, she's holding a phone. She's the picture of calm. She's so serene in this moment in the morning. And it's funny because I think it's a great example of how split personalities we can all have as humans, because my mother, being a strong, independent woman who doesn't take shit from anybody, is also extremely erratic every day of her life. It just makes me think that, you know, we're walking contradictions. And you know, I am rambling, and the reason I'm rambling is mostly just because I don't want to have to deal with what's coming later in the evening. Hello? My mother asks me, que horas que você tem que estar lá? And you have to be there. And I'm like, 6! I'm looking outside the window, and it's snowing. And I really, really hate it. Oh my God, I hate it. I may be American, but fuck me, am I Brazilian when it comes to the weather. I pass by the kitchen table, I grab a pão de queijo, I start munching on it, and I'm thinking table, mesa. You know, I learned Portuguese first. I grew up in this country, and didn't really like the idea of having a second language. The TV was a magical thing when I was a child. It spoke in sounds that sounded nothing like my parents. I started taking words from it, and I would start to conflate the two languages. I mean, one time I asked my mother, Mãe, como que se fala table in inglês? Equivalent being, Mom, how do you say mesa in Portuguese? He's still your father. My mother loves to bring reality to me when I'm in my mind. You know, I have a lot of fond memories when I was a kid. When I was 7, I was put in special education classes. Apparently in the 1990s, if you couldn't speak English by the second grade, you were considered intellectually disabled. Never mind that I fully dreamed in a different language. No, this nationalism says there's only one right way of doing things, and I was not it. Oi, Fernando! Ah, yes, I know, Mom, I know he's, and I'm just gonna, just don't worry about it, and I walk into another room. If you ever need to get out of a conversation, that's an excellent way to do it. I would recommend. Today is Christmas Eve. For a lot of families, it's a day of reunion, joy, presents, family. For me, I become a political mastermind in navigating interpersonal relationships. So, here's where we stand. This right here, this is me. And I live in headquarters in the village of Pereiras. Or I should say Pereira, since it's just my mother. I have a room, it's no bigger than a closet, but it does have a bed, and I'm told it's very fancy. It's filled with dreams, aspirations, and existential crises. Over here, we have the fortress of the Santos, the new world, my father's home, and where the true ruler is Juliana, my stepmother. It's weird to call her that. They have 2 children, Michael and Anna, 6 and 8. I always thought it was a bit narcissistic to call your children by your own name. Juliana's parents are visiting, all the way from Brazil! A diplomatic journey, I'm sure. Population 6. Well, 7, if you count the dog. And down here, we have the Johnsons. My brother from my actual mother married an American. They've instigated an open door policy for the holidays. They invite you, and if you don't come to see them for the holidays, it's your fault. I think it's very smart. At exactly 5:30 p.m. today, I have to take my mother's car and drive all the way over to here and have Christmas Eve dinner. I remember my cousin came to visit from Brazil. We were having lunch around the kitchen mesa, batendo papo, talking all in Portuguese. I'm struggling to express myself, but I do my best. And at one point, my cousin turns to me and he's looking at me as if he's like singing Alien for the first time. And I think it's very ironic because out of my entire family, I'm the only one who's considered not an alien by the US government. So he's looking at me and he goes, in Portuguese, "It's so strange. You look my age, but you sound like my parents." It's an interesting confrontation when you realize that your speaking patterns not only matches your parents, but also an entire generation when you've grown up in a vacuum. I mean, I felt like in that moment I was one of those snow globes that you find in the 80s from like a convenience store by the side of the road. You can shake it and shake it and shake it and shake it, and nothing changes. It's just stuck in time. Many of you have probably noticed that I don't have an accent by now. However, an English woman once told me I did have an accent, and that was very exciting. I thought, here's somebody who might show me that I have a hint of exoticness to my American language scape. She says to me, "You don't sound like you have an accent." And I go, well, what do Americans sound like? I was so excited about this prospect. I was like, almost like, do I have an accent? Oh my God! She goes, "No, you sound a little bit more like this. This is what an American accent's supposed to sound like." And I started seeing that what she was really saying was that she was kind of prejudiced against Americans because her idea of an American seems to be a backwards hick somewhere. But I'm such a dumbass and a people pleaser that I didn't want to be out-American by some redcoat. So I turn to her and I say, "Does this what I'm supposed to sound like?" And she goes, "Yeah!" And she hugs me because she's so proud of me. Because somehow she's done some sort of colonial conquest of teaching a native how to speak English. Don't be late. I'm always late. I think it's a Brazilian thing. I put on a Christmas sweater my dad got me once. It's very uncomfortable. And I try and use it to muster up some holiday cheer. And I try and get into my mother's tiny red Mini Cooper. It's a bit too short for me. It's a sports car, and when you turn it on, it goes vroom, and that's about as far as the sports car goes. I have to open this door, and I have to get in one leg, and I have to get my ass in, and try to make sure I don't hit my head, and I'm uncomfortable in the sweater, and I drag my other foot in, and I close the door, and I'm overwhelmed. All right. This is the car that I took my cousin to in the airport. When I dropped him off, he grabbed his bag, looked at me and said, "Ciao, gringo!" And I was like, "Ciao!" I felt so annihilated in that moment. I never felt more distanced from my own culture ever before in my life. I wanted to change that desperately. I wanted to be, new and sexy. I wanted to be that it thing. I wanted to, when I told Brazilians that I was Brazilian, or someone else that I was Brazilian, could really look at me and be like, "Oh, that's hot," So I came up with a plan. I decided I was going to become more Brazilian. The first thing I tried doing was learning Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Something manly, something strong, something Brazil's famous for. I got choked out so many times in the first week that I decided maybe that's not for me. The next thing I decided to try was getting a Brazilian accent in English. Something that I could just whip out when I'm speaking to a Brazilian and be like, "See, I sound like you." I found a Canadian accent coach living in Shanghai to teach me how to do a Brazilian accent. And I think you've noticed, if you listen very closely to that sentence, it's crazy. It's what a crazy person does. After I had explained my predicament to this accent coach, he had one thing to say to me, and he said, "Listen and repeat." Years ago, there was a BBC show where they did man on the street interviews, and then took those interviews and made a claymation of a bunch of zoo animals. And one of the zoo animals was a puma, and the puma made it very clear that he was Brazilian and he missed Brazil. So I was listening to these sounds again and again, trying to perfectly get them. It's just going, it's not comfortable for me. It's some small space, the Wi-Fi and all that shit, the football club, and I'm doing this again and again, so I can mimic my cousins as in some sort of proto-farce, as if that if I can sound like them in English, then I can be them in Portuguese. As much as I wanted to use an accent to be the same, I learned that all accents do is make you someone else, the other. You become different naturally because you don't conform. Nothing worked. Sometimes I feel like I'm running, and 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 I'm running as far as I can go, and I don't want to stop, but inevitably I fall, and I crash, and I burn. I burn into the confrontation that maybe I'm not Brazilian. How could I be? What right do I have? I didn't grow up there. My connection to Brazil is like a fantasy novel. It's an imaginary place that exists in my head, and all I have in there is like pão de queijos and beautiful beaches. And if I'm not Brazilian, does that mean I'm American? I don't feel like a full-fledged American. I mean, yes, I think in English, but I dream in Portuguese still. And then I have the genetics part, like my mother and my father, and oh God, and suddenly I feel a sneeze coming on, and I'm on the highway, I'm jetting past mild traffic, and the sneeze starts to grow, and my body starts to convulse a bit, and I scrunch up my face, and I close my eyes, and if you don't know this, it's a bad idea to close your eyes while you're driving, and I'm convulsing, it's turning into a crescendo, and as if I want to yell and say, run before I turn again! Oh, it's all over the windshield. Oh no. I turn on the windshield wipers and I realize, of course, it's not going to work. It's on the inside, so I turn it off and I take my Christmas sweater and I start to wipe it, and yeah, it's disgusting. Dangerous pass though. I veer off the highway. And then it hits me. Werewolves. Lobisomens. But not like the six-pack, runs in a gang type. I'm talking about like a Brazilian werewolf. In Brazilian folklore, the werewolf isn't just a wolf. It can be a mixture of like a dog or a pig, a donkey, even a calf is in there sometimes. It's got black fur, red eyes, got long ears, and it transforms every Friday night. Sexta-feira. The way you get afflicted by the werewolf's curse is that you wallow too long at a crossroads where other animals like to roll around. And these other animals, they snort, and they oink, and they cackle, and they bark, and they laugh, and they create culture, and they create cities, and they put it all in one place, and they don't have a care about who falls into it. I fell into an American suburb, littered by suburbicans. And in the middle of all that, the fortress, my father's home. I've never been. I'm tense. I'm meeting a new family, not my family, his family. Well, his family's family. Well, I guess his family's extended family. I park across the street. I don't want to get stuck in the driveway. It also makes for a quick getaway. I have to leave this car the same way I get in, with one leg out, and make sure I don't hit my head and get my ass out with the other leg. And it's so frustrating, and I'm still in this fucking sweater. I start to walk towards the front door. It's really cold out. My heart is beating so fast. I can hear the fresh snow being crushed underneath every dreaded step I take, and I really don't want to do this, but I am a political mastermind. They do that really creepy thing that people do when they open the door before you announce yourselves. No hugs, just nods and polite smiles. And then Michael and Anna come rushing in. I'm Charmander! Michael loves Pokemon. I didn't know this. I haven't seen him since he was a baby. He's my brother, half-brother. It's weird. I don't really know. Oh, you're like Charizard! He runs back into the house. He's got a lot of energy. Reminds me of me. Anna is the shy one. She's hiding behind her mother's leg. She's looking up at me with these eyes filled with wonder. And I can see she's unsure. Just like me. Entra! My stepmother asks me to come in, and I walk in, and whoa, what a grand home. I mean, 2 floors and a basement. I mean, he's done very well for himself or themselves. I don't really know the financials, I can only guess. Or there is enormous debt. I don't know. They usher me through one room, and another room, and another room, until, oh God, I'm startled by these ghouls standing at the back of the dining room table, Juliana's parents. My step-grandparents? I've never met them. Now begins the charade about, I don't know if I should shake their hand or give them a kiss on the cheek. And Portuguese is the only language I know where the answer to how are you is, how are you? Oi, tudo bem? Tudo bem, 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 prazer, prazer. Tudo bem, prazer, prazer. Tudo bem, prazer, prazer. Tudo bem, prazer, prazer. Tudo bem, tudo bem. It's an exercise in futility. I mean, who am I to these people anyway? Some alien object? A growth my father has yet to excise out of his life. An intruder to this new world. Oh, I have never been more glad to hear barking in my life. I meet their dog, He's so happy. He runs up to me. He's so happy to see me. He's happy to exist. He's jumping onto me. I'm petting him. I grab his little paws. I look at my dad. I say, what's his name? Her name! Spot! That's Michael zipping by. She's a mixed breed, says my dad. Nome dela é Mancha, says my stepmother. Mancha. Spot. Mixed breed. Well, I'm instantly reminded of those werewolves. And here she is, I mean, truly free. You know, werewolves, lobisomens, they get to do whatever they want, don't they? They get stuck with different parts of different animals, and they get to use every single piece however they want to. Their identity is not of a dog or a wolf or a pig or a calf or a donkey. It's whatever they want it to be. Because they make it. It's beautiful and terrifying. Just like Mancha. That's my stepmother shooing away Mancha. She has us sit down for Christmas dinner, oh boy. She's conveniently sat me between my father and my step-grandfather. The table is a strange assortment. It's got feijoada, it's got rice, it's got beans, which is feijoada, it's got farofa, it's got cheeseburgers, pizza, spaghetti bolognese, Chinese takeout. It really felt like somebody just looked in a cupboard and went, yes. I mean, I respect it. I love to eat. So we start eating. They start talking. I'm not really talking. I'm not really listening either. I'm just more so like shoveling food in my mouth until the evening's over. Until, of course, my father's favorite question comes up. E as namoradas? How are the girlfriends? Plural, as if I am a walking harem. I go, oh, you know, non-existent. My girlfriend and I love to play Pokemon together. Michael's doing great, I guess. No, you can tell us, don't be shy. That's my stepmother handing me a piece of bread, asking me to confess. Yes. I decided to indulge Michael. What's your favorite type Pokemon? Raikou! I don't know what that is. Mas tem ninguém na sua vida? My step-grandmother asks me. And I say, no, not really, no. My father chimes in, he's going, well, have you thoughts about getting married? And have I thought about it? Sure. Is it possible? No. So I just say, oh, maybe one day. And my step-grandmother, in perfect English, stares me right in the eye and says, don't make somebody else miserable. Her husband starts to laugh. It's a hideous laugh. It sounds like this. I don't like it. He turns to me and he just says, "C'est americano." Not a question, just a statement. I say, well, I'm Brazilian. He looks at me as if I should get up, start to samba, juggle a soccer ball, and sing the girl from Ipanema all at the same time. And the fact that I can't even say that word might prove him right. I don't know. But I look at him and I go, no, I'm Brazilian. He says, "C'est americano." Statement. And I go, well, it's complicated. You ever tried talking to somebody you really don't like? It's excruciating. But I am a political mastermind. And I thought I will breach this divide. I'm going to try and make small talk. So I asked him about his trip to LA. They had just gone. How was your trip to LA? Eu não gostei. I don't know why I'm surprised. I ask, oh, why not? Tinha muitos estrangeiros. Too many foreigners. In that moment, I became the most full-blooded American I ever have in my entire life. I mean, this man comes into my country as an immigrant, as so many before him, the people who make this country what it is, and tries to tell me, a full-bred American, that there are too many foreigners living here, not to mention the elephant in the room, which I did, because I couldn't help it. It just came out. I looked at him and I said, "You're the foreigner." I can't tell you how much I regretted saying that in that moment. The mesa erupts. Everyone is shouting. The kids are crying. My step-great-grandfather is choking on his food, and I can't really tell you what my step-grandmother was saying, because if I did, I mean, it would just make a prostitute blush. My father grabs me by the shoulder, lifts me up, starts taking me out while my stepmother yells about an ungrateful son. She takes me through 1, 2, 3. Oh, that's new. Out the door. Standing outside now. My father's behind me. We're looking out into this perfect suburban cul-de-sac. And I'm honestly so thankful for the cold gust of air that has just hit me. It's quiet. It's really quiet. I mean, aside from the cacophony that's coming from inside the house, but it's quiet. It's just me and my dad. For the first time in a long time. I know I'm supposed to leave now. I don't expect him to say anything, because I've really never expected anything from him anyway. I take a step off the porch. I feel a hand on that same shoulder. And I hear him say in that ridiculous accent of his, "I'm proud of who you are." I don't let him see the tear in my eye. I just nod, and I walk away quickly, and I hear him close the door behind me, and now as I'm walking towards the car, my breath is hard, and my body starts to convulse, and every part of it is fighting itself, and I don't know what to do, and all I can think of to do in that moment is reach out to God and say, "Who am I? Who am I? A fucking Christmas sweater? Tell me where I belong! Take me out of my fucking misery and tell me! Please." He's not listening. Or if he is, he doesn't answer. Or it doesn't exist. I mean, it's all plausible. It's just me. Alone. In the middle of the street. And in the cold silence of that street, I have a realization. I'm the werewolf. I grew up between two cultures, two cities, two ideas, two languages, two accents. And maybe that's all I ever need to be. Something new, something beautiful, something terrifying, and a contradiction. Just like Masha.